Hi there, this is
Hello,
Ulysses
hello.
Lavaroni. This is for Cyclical Dreams label. I'm going to present you Nicola Maggi. Is an ambient and a musician, very interesting work, and is now with us. And we are going to make some questions, as always, to know about him and his work. Hi, Nicola.
Hi, nice to see you. I'm very glad to be here.
It's a pleasure for us as Cyclical Dreams to have in our catalog. Cyclical Dreams is something that is growing day by day, and we are happy to have your work with us. And well, we are going to make some very short questions, but that they have many sense surely for you. And the first one is how you reach electronic music, how you reach the kind of music you are doing now. What is your musical experience in your life? Okay, we want to know about this.
Yeah, of course. Well, I started making music when I was a teenager, many years ago, and I started with hip hop, making hip hop beats with my friends, and for many years that has been my main music. So I use the samplers, I use the computers. Always electronic music, like sampling from vinyls and so on, like the classic approach to beat making. And then at one point, I don't know, I got a bit tired of this approach that was a bit rigid, because this I still like this kind of music, but I wanted to experiment with something more free, with less structure, not so focused on rhythm, not so focused on like, I don't know, chorus, verse, very like structured music. So yeah, I started to listen to some ambient music, and I really fell in love with it because it was focused on the texture. There were no rules, a lot of room for experimentation, and using whatever you can find, like sampling like sounds, field recordings, sounds from whatever source you can find around you, synthesizers, but not only. So it's very versatile, it's very open, it's very free. And yeah, I started approaching this kind of music this way because I really needed something where I could like express myself without any boundary. So that's more or less the story. It's been quite short since I approached ambient music, um, more or less 1 year, a bit more. But I had a lot of experience already in electronic music from my previous activity as a beat maker. So I already knew how to use the tools, how to record, and so on. I just had to apply all my knowledge in a new genre. So yeah, it went quite fast.
Very interesting. It's really a world, a universe, ambient music, and you are doing well. And then, how do you work? What's about your workflow? What's
Yeah.
about your way to compose and to create the music that you are doing?
Yeah, when I started to listen to ambient music, I watched a lot of videos on YouTube. I discovered many very interesting artists, and I noticed that many of them work with tape. So when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, tape cassettes were still a very common media, and I mean, I'm familiar with them, and so also a bit of nostalgia maybe for this like support. And so I decided to try it myself to like make music with this support. And yeah, I got inspired by other musicians already doing it, and I started the experiment, and I discovered that I really love to use cassettes because well, it's physical approach to music. I use a 4-track cassette recorder, and I manipulate sounds. Maybe they can be samples, like piano samples or whatever samples. They can be something that I make with my computer, with the DAW, or recording from my synthesizers. I mainly compose mixing different techniques, and then I record everything to the 4-track recorder, and I use it to like mix the tracks that I recorded. Maybe I manipulate them, like slowing the tape down, adding some effects, like with some pedal or something like that, and maybe I add some more layers with synthesizers. So I like starting from this recording on the cassette, I add something more. I create the arrangement on the fly. I don't really plan that much. I leave a lot of room for improvisation. I mean, I have an idea of what I want to do, of course, but I often like to go with the flow, with the inspiration of the moment, and record the session as it comes. So if it comes out good, I keep it. Otherwise, maybe I try again, or yeah, just not all the experiments work at the first attempt. But this is my approach. Like the tape recorder is the centerpiece, and then everything revolves around it, and a lot of improvisation also is necessary, because as I explained before, I need more free approach, more study, less studied, less calculation, no? More like inspiration, and be in the moment. So this allows me to be quite free in the composition. I have these elements, and I mix them quite freely according to the moment. And the cassette also is very important, because it gives a very nice warm texture to the sounds. Maybe it can be lo-fi, but that's not important, like to have this pristine audio quality, because like the irregularity of the tape, the like slight wobble from the cassette recorder, it creates a more organic sound, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. So it's perfect for me. It works. Was a great discovery, this going back to cassette. So yeah, it's a very nice approach.
Great. Yes, I think. Well, I start making music with 4 tracks cassettes, Tascam,
Yeah.
and yes, it's have a very special color, I'm sure of. So, and what's it's your view about electronic music? How you see electronic music world and electronic music at present?
Mm. Yeah, this is a very nice question, and a difficult question. Well, I like electronic music because it allows you to express yourself in a way that is very free, and you need very little. And nowadays, there are tools that are very approachable for everybody. Basically, you need a laptop and pair of headphones and a couple of programs, and you can already do music in your bedroom. Now there are also very affordable synthesizers that didn't exist in the past. So electronic music has become very approachable from many people, and including me, that I can't really afford a lot of fancy equipment. I don't have a dedicated space to do my music, so I need very simple and small stuff, and that's the technology nowadays allows me to do music even in my room at home. So that's the positive side of it. Many people can approach music making with very little resources. On the other hand, that this has caused saturation of music production, because there is an overflow of music production. It's very hard to keep track of all the stuff that comes out, so it can be a bit overwhelming, and sometimes this affects the quality too, because well, in the past the market was ruled by big labels, and you have to go through hard selection to get your record released to the public. And now it's much more accessible for everybody, and you can say it's a good side, but on the other hand, it is also some bad sides, because quantity, less quality. So this filter, this selection, it's a bit necessary, because for the final user, for the listeners, it can become hard to orientate in this like big amount of music that comes out daily, because daily there are tons of albums that are released all around the world. In ambient music, it's a bit easier because it's not such a large community. It's a genre that is a bit more, is a bit smaller. So at least in my experience so far, compared to hip hop, for example, where I come from. So it's a bit easier to communicate with people that like the same music, to connect. Um, so I like this is also why I like ambient music, because it's a bit smaller circle and it's not so commercial. I mean, there are no ambient tracks in the top 10 of the charts. So so
They
I
will
think this is
never.
good. Never be, probably. But this is good because it keeps it more, keeps the quality higher, because when there is less business involved, probably people that do it more for the pleasure of it than for the career or this kind of stuff. So yeah, I think it affects positively the quality of the music. So yeah, this is more or less my vision. I mean, yeah, good that there are like approachable technology supports, like synthesizer and computers and audio interface. They're very affordable, and I mean, I appreciate because I use them, but yeah, I myself get a bit overwhelmed when I go to the internet. I go to Bandcamp, I go to Spotify, and there is so much music out there. And yeah, I have a limited amount of time in my day that I can use for uh, listening to music. So you have to choose carefully. It's not that simple. In the past, before the internet, you went to the music store, maybe some friend referred you something, maybe you read it on a magazine, maybe there was some kind of filter, there was a system. And when you bought an album, like a physical copy of it, was, you wanted to be sure that was great, because you invested your money in it and you had like this physical thing that you brought at home. So it was different, and there was more awareness in what you were choosing, in what you were, why you were choosing it. And now, I mean, just click on a Spotify playlist and maybe you listen a lot of music, but you don't even know the name of the artist at the end of the playlist. I have some of my tracks in some playlist on Spotify. They get a lot of play, but people don't come looking for my music. I mean, that one track that is in the playlist maybe gets a lot of play, but it doesn't engage me with my potential audience. It doesn't really help me to develop my relationship with the audience. I don't. I, of course, I'm just a small artist that does music in his bedroom at home. So I'm not a professional, and I have a very small circle of people that listen to my music. But those that I managed to connect with, there is a very good relationship. I know they appreciate my music. They give me feedback. There is an exchange. Of course, it's always through the internet because these people are spread all across the world. But yeah, it's good because we can like connect directly. But it's hard. I know that there are people out there that potentially can be interested in what I do, but it's not so easy to reach them, even though it seems like through the internet you have access to the whole world. It's not exactly like that, because there is so much music and so many people, and to connect is not so easy. It's not so simple to find your own audience, your own people that can like appreciate what you do.
Yes, very interesting reflection about this is something that it's very interesting to be said, because it's this relation about quality and opportunity and filters about music. They are not good, but they are good.
Yeah.
And well, it is something interesting to think on. Yeah, this strange balance all the time changing, and the the quantity, the incredible quantity of music does not guarantees the quality of those release. But anyway, there's a more obviously democratic approach to the music nowadays. But yes, it's something, as I told you before, it's something to write a book, but it's interesting to make some reflection today about. Well, Nicola, aka Electromagnetic, a pleasure to talk with you. We are pleased to have you in our level, and I hope you see you soon.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a pleasure, and thank you for hosting my album with your label. It's really a pleasure.